Have you ever wondered why, in a world overflowing with information and connection, some men choose to withdraw, silently abandoning the quest for love? They don't speak of it, they don't complain, but deep down, something has shattered. They carry a silent despair and invisible weariness that no one can see, or at least no one truly understands. Let's look at the story of David, a modern man, successful in his career with a life that seemed outwardly fulfilling. He had a stable job, a spacious apartment, and a close circle of friends. But every night, when the surrounding noise subsided, David faced a vast emptiness in his soul. He had once been a passionate young man, believing in love as a miracle. He had opened his heart, placed his complete trust in relationships, but time and again, he only received scars in return. Broken relationships, rejections without clear reasons, or even the sudden feeling of abandonment, all gradually eroded David's trust. He began to doubt his self-worth, wondering if there was something wrong with him, something not good enough to be loved completely. This is the manifestation of a form of despair that the great philosopher Søren Kierkegaard described, a feeling of inadequacy, a deep conviction that they are never good enough to be loved. It's not ordinary sadness, but a loss of meaning, of the ability to recognize one's own value. Modern society places heavy expectations on men. They must be strong, steadfast, the pillar. Men don't cry. Men must swallow their tears. Men must always be proactive, the leader. These messages are deeply ingrained in the subconscious, creating a solid shell. But love, one of the most profound human experiences, demands the opposite: vulnerability, authenticity, the ability to open up and take risks. This very conflict pushed David and many other men into a dilemma. They hide their true selves, fearing that if they reveal weakness, they will be rejected, scorned. They believe they must build a perfect, flawless image to be accepted. But true love never comes from artificial perfection, but from accepting flaws and the beauty of imperfection. Repeated disappointments, failed relationships, and especially the feeling of being invisible, of not having his true worth recognized, eroded David's hope. He began to tell himself that love wasn't worth fighting for, not worth investing emotions in. Just give up, he thought. Living alone is fine, no more pain to endure. He withdrew, building an invisible wall around himself. He still went to work, still socialized, but his heart had closed off. He became a man who had given up on love, silently, without complaint, but with an ever-growing void in his soul. Modern culture, especially the explosion of social media and dating apps, exacerbated this despair. David had tried dating apps, hoping to find a meaningful connection, but he quickly realized he was lost in a love market. Everyone tried to display the best, most perfect version of themselves. Meticulously edited photos, glamorous self-descriptions. David felt he couldn't compete. He found himself constantly compared to ideal archetypes, to romantic love stories in movies or on social media. This comparison only amplified his feeling of inadequacy, the sense that he was a flawed product in a market brimming with perfect choices. We turn human connection into a transaction, an exchange of value. What do you have? What does she have? Everything becomes shallow, superficial. A man's worth seems to be determined by his bank account, the car he drives, or the number of likes on social media. This further made him feel a sense of loss, feeling that true, genuine love seemed to have vanished. He saw his friends also struggling with similar issues. They too were weary, closing off their hearts, or diving into superficial, meaningless relationships just to fill the void. Kierkegaard called this despair the sickness unto death, not a physical death, but the death of the spirit, of the ability to live an authentic and meaningful life. It's a profound disconnection from oneself, from others, and from the world.
When a man falls into this sickness unto death, he refuses to live authentically, refuses to accept his true self with all its imperfections. He believes that meaningful love, true love, is impossible for him. He convinces himself that he is unworthy, or that love is merely an illusion, a waste of time and emotion. Furthermore, rapidly changing gender roles and societal expectations also left many men feeling uncertain. In the past, things were clearer. Men were the pillars, the breadwinners, the protectors. Women were the caregivers, the nurturers of affection. Now, women are increasingly independent, strong, and have their own expectations of a partner. David felt confused. He didn't know who he should be in a relationship. Should he still be the strong one, or should he learn to share his emotions? Should he be proactive, or should he wait for equality? This uncertainty, coupled with the fear of being misjudged, pushed him into a state of withdrawal, preferring inaction over making a wrong move. Modern dating culture also frequently distorts the meaning of love. It turns love into a transaction, a performance. We present our best selves, trying to sell ourselves to the other person. But true love, Kierkegaard emphasized, is a choice rooted in faith and courage, not a transaction or a performance. It's not a list of criteria to be met, but unconditional acceptance, a leap of faith into another person and into oneself. When love is commodified, it loses its inherent sacredness and profound meaning. David had lived in that state of silent despair for a long time. He felt like he was drifting aimlessly, without a compass, without an anchor. He had built a perfect life on the outside, but inside he was empty. He tried to fill that void with work, with social gatherings, with friends, but it was all temporary. The despair remained.
But it is precisely in the abyss of despair that we find the starting point for transformation. Kierkegaard believed that honestly confronting despair is the first step to overcoming it. This requires the courage to admit that one is stuck, suffering, and can no longer continue living that way. For David, that moment came when he saw an elderly couple walking hand in hand in the park. The look they exchanged, the peace and understanding evident on their faces, awakened a deep longing within him. He realized that he didn't want to live a solitary life, didn't want to give up the possibility of experiencing true love. He began to ask himself, where did I go wrong? Why do I feel so empty? That question opened the door to a journey of self-discovery. He started reading books, delving into philosophy, psychology, and by chance, he found Kierkegaard's ideas. He realized that true fulfillment doesn't come from trying to be who society wants us to be, or of achieving external material successes. It comes from authenticity, from living in accordance with one's deepest values, even when it's difficult, even when it goes against the crowd. David realized that he had spent too much time trying to be good enough in the eyes of others, forgetting to be good enough in his own eyes. He had built a perfect image to hide his weaknesses, his fears. But true love, he began to understand, requires the courage to accept the risk of rejection, to be vulnerable, and to embrace one's own imperfections. It demands that you shed your mask, revealing your true self with all your scars and flaws. The despair that Kierkegaard called the sickness unto death is precisely the refusal to live authentically, the refusal to confront one's true nature. When David realized this, he began a journey of self-healing. He started looking back at past relationships, not to blame others or fate, but to better understand his own role. He realized that he had always sought love as a validation of his self-worth, a way to fill the perceived shortcomings he felt he had. He had placed too heavy a burden on love, turning it into a tool to define who he was. David began to dismantle the societal expectations and false definitions of love he had internalized. He understood that true love is not a transaction or a performance, it is a choice, an act of faith and courage. It requires you to accept uncertainty, to accept that you might be hurt, but still choose to open your heart. This is the leap of faith that Kierkegaard spoke of, a leap into uncertainty, into the risk of being hurt, but also a leap into the possibility of true love. One of the missing pieces David found on this journey was self-love and a higher sense of purpose. He realized that he couldn't fully love others if he didn't love himself first. Self-love is not selfishness, but the foundation for being able to give and receive love in a healthy way. As he began to accept his flaws, forgive past mistakes, and cherish his core values, he felt an inner peace emerge. Along with self-love, David also found a higher sense of purpose in life. He no longer lived solely for external successes, but began to seek meaning in small things, in helping others, in personal growth. When he had a clear purpose in life, a belief in something greater than himself, the fear of loneliness and inadequacy began to fade. He realized that only when we no longer depend on love to define our self-worth can we truly give and receive love freely, without fear. The path back to love does not lie in external success, nor in seeking a perfect relationship as depicted in romantic illusions. It lies in the courage to be oneself, to accept imperfection and vulnerability. It is an inner journey, a process of self-discovery and self-acceptance. When David began to live authentically with himself, he no longer felt the need to hide or pretend. He began to attract more genuine connections, people who truly saw and appreciated his true self. He understood that love is not something you find, but something you become. When a man becomes whole, when he has found peace within himself, when he has accepted his scars and flaws, he will naturally attract genuine connections, relationships based on respect, understanding, and true love. Love is no longer a desperate search, but a natural resonance of two souls who have found peace and wholeness within themselves. David's story is not over. He is still on his journey, still learning how to love and be loved. But now he is no longer the man who silently gave up on love. He is a man who has confronted his despair, taken the leap of faith, and is living an authentic, hopeful life. And that is the message I want to convey to all men carrying silent despair. True love never dies. It is merely waiting for you to rediscover your true self, to be reborn once more. Be courageous, be authentic, and believe in your own capacity to love.